Holy Spirit, O Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for whatever you have provided to us. We call upon your Holy Spirit to come and guide us through this facilitation and help our facilitator to take us through all the concepts that we want so that we can progress with ICT. We pray those through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father.
Amen.
And the Spirit. Amen.
Okay, thank you so much, Eve and Essence, for the word of prayer, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Would like to welcome all the schools that are joining in from the different parts of the country. I want to thank all the teachers that have joined on this call, but also we want to thank the schools that are supporting the program. Thank you so much. But allow me now to welcome our facilitator, Teacher Simon, to take us through today's session. Mr. Simon, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kaziba Stephen. I'm glad to be here with our students. I welcome you, dear learners, but in a special way, I also welcome the colleague teachers of the call. Thank you for sparing time to come and attend to this evening session. Dear learners, I also wish to welcome you once again to this facilitation of the kind. It may be our last engagement before you go for your final exams, of which we are preparing for. Through you, Mr. Kaziba, may I know if I'm clear and my screen is there? I beg to know before continuing if my screen is there and the people are able to see my screen and I'm also loud and clear. Members, in case someone is hearing, you let me know if you can hear what I say. Mr. Kaziba, can you hear me? Oh.
Teacher Simon, I can see your screen and you are very clear.
Okay, thank you so much. I was getting worried. I think we can go ahead. All right, just like I said, welcome, dear colleagues. It's high time that we started here. I want to thank you, dear candidates, in the first place for choosing ICT as a subject, your optional subject. I want to thank the teachers that have been doing great work of making sure that you get all the content that is required for you to pass the examination. My name is Kanyike Simon Peter Chiviri. I'm an ICT teacher centered at Senior Secondary School, Bukumi, in Kakumiro District. I want to welcome you as we talk about ICT. We are going to basically talk about, we are not giving content like we have been doing. Today, we are basically looking at the tips of how can you present what you already have or the little that you can add on what you have. How can you present your work? What are the requirements? What is in the paper? That standard paper that you're going to do to attempt. What can you do for you to present your work very well and you pass? We are going to handle both papers, that is both paper 1 and paper 2. Before we go to the setting, I want to remind you that all of you are capable and the content that you have is enough for you to get an A. It's just a matter of how do you present the content to the examiner. Just be confident in yourself. I believe with what the teachers have prepared you to do, you will be able to catch up and get there. Okay, our ICT paper has 2 papers. paper 1, which is 840-1, which is theory, and paper 2, which is basically practical. And the other assessment, you'll also be assessed through continuous assessment and activities of integration. By now, I believe all these, the continuous assessment and your activities of integration, have so far already been submitted to UNEB. So you already have scores in UNEB. You only left, and these two scores, we are told they count 20%. You are only left to work out for the 80%. How did you work? How did you perform in the 20%? You know better. And also, UNEB by now knows better. So how do we prepare for the 80% now for us to be able to get very good grades for us? We shall first talk about 841, that is ICT paper 1. How is it said? The structure, the paper consists of 2 sections, Section A and Section B, with a total of 5 examination items. Section A is compulsory. It has 1 compulsory item. This one is drawn from element of construct 1, which we shall see later. Section B has 2 parts. Part 1, which is derived from element of construct 2, and also part 2, which is derived from element of construct 3. Part 1 also has 2 questions, and part 2 also has 2 questions. That is, in total, section B has 4 items. A candidate to answer an item from each part. That is, from part 1, you'll be attempting only 1 item, and from part 2, you'll also be attempting 1 item. In total, you are supposed to answer 3 examination items. A candidate should only use the materials provided to answer. Don't have extra pieces of paper as you go to the examination room. Dear students, encourage yourself to work with your head. Prepare your heads, prepare yourselves very well to avoid walking in with any other material that you may not need. We'll talk about item 1. Item 1, we are told, and it is not just told, but it is a compulsory item. That is section A. It comes from element of construct 1. The learner appreciates and manages the computer system. It comes from the topics Introduction to ICT, Computer Hardware and System Startup, Word Processing, Spreadsheet, Database Management Systems, System and Data Security. And these topics, we expect you to be knowing how can these topics relate in the real world. How, when we talk about Introduction to ICT, we shall talk about the basic computing knowledge. Do you have that basic computing knowledge that you can advise someone? Then computer hardware. Are you able to determine the physical parts of a computer? And after knowing them, can you ably tell where each of these devices can work to solve a problem in society? Because ideally, all the scenarios that you're going to be given in all subjects, this time, however, we are talking about ICT, all the scenarios you're going to get, they have a problem somewhere which needs a solution from you. So we expect you to solve a problem somewhere using the topics that you have studied in that particular subject. So just know as you're reading, identify the problems then based on the knowledge that you have acquired in various topics. For us, we shall not tell you that this item is coming from this topic, no? Maybe this statement is from this topic, no? We expect you to come up with a knowledge that will work out with comprehending all the programs, the applications that have been given to you. How do we have to respond to section A? Section A, as you're responding, item 1, we expect you to write a relevant introductory paragraph. When we say relevant, this paragraph should be in line with the scenario. Don't simply just write a line which is even just out of the blue and it is not connected anywhere to the scenario. Then mention relevant tools for you to be on a safer side. For whichever the problem, the task, the item that is given to you, please write at least 6 of them. Have about 6, 5, 6, 7 or more. And for each of the devices that you identify and put up, please explain how that device works and how it can solve a problem. What is its relevance? What's the relevance of that device? You're talking about a computer. What is the relevance of the computer? Or why would you recommend it? Or why? What's your judgment? Why do you think of all devices, the ICT tools that we have, it should be a computer? You're talking about a flash disk. Why do you think of all the gadgets that we have in ICT? You should talk about that flash disk. What is actually required? So explain how the mentioned tool works in relation to the scenario. Give the relevance or recommendation judgment about the selected tool and give the management measures for the tools stated. Then give a relevant concluding paragraph. Sometimes item 1 may not ask you for the management measures, but whether asked for or not, please put the management measures. How can we manage these tools? So for us, we say that have your introductory paragraph precise and focused to the scenario. We are going to see this introductory paragraph. For you to present your answers, you can either present your answers or responses, paragraph, or in a tabular form. The choice is yours. You prepare a table of about 3 columns. You item, you give the use, and how to manage, how to keep in good sound condition. Or else you can use paragraphs. You mention, you identify a tool, mention it, identify or mention that tool, then give its description and its use. Later, after talking about all of them, give the management measures, because sometimes it might be the same management measure that has to cut across a number of devices. So we first talk about the other one, the tools independently, then later talk about the management measures. You need to have the 3 aspects easily identifiable by whoever is going to be marking your work. Those 3 aspects: identify. You mention that it is a keyboard, mention that it is a computer, mention that it is a camera, mention that gadget, mention that it is a smartphone, mention that it is a spreadsheet application. By the way, to remind you, on all the tools that we talk about, we have tools of both hardware and software. So these 2 tools should be handy, hardware and software. As you're mentioning the tools, make sure I don't leave out the software thinking that it is not part of the tools. Okay, keep your answers focused to the scenario. If a problem given to you in the scenario is in a school, Please make sure that your answers are directing you to solving a problem in that school. Don't write responses solving problems for a farm and you put them in a school. Make sure that everything is focused to the problem that is given to you at hand. Avoid repeating tools as some may be implied into others. This one is very common to you, dear learners, dear students. Dear candidates, when you have to talk about the ICT tools, which we might have asked for, you mention a desk, you simply write a computer. Then later somewhere, someone writes a laptop. Then later somewhere, someone writes a monitor. Later, someone writes a keyboard that you will buy a monitor to view or preview the information or the things being processed inside the computer. You will also buy a mouse to move the pointer on the screen. You will buy a keyboard to type or to enter the data into a computer. All those are parts of a computer. And as people or the teachers are scoring, you may get just a single score for mentioning all those things. If not, you may not even get it because we expect to be that is one device. So don't imply and lie to yourself that that device, as you mentioned the parts of the devices, you are solving a problem. For us, we know that once we are buying a computer, the computer is one solid device which has both input and output devices. Don't mention those parts of the computer. That is why we are saying that avoid repeating tools as some may be implied into others. The examiner may write for you that you might have repeated that very item. I have a sample item here. This item was from one of the mock papers that you might have done. If you didn't do it, no worries. You have a chance to look at it now. If you did it, we may simply just use it as a sample. So it goes that James runs a small dairy farm in the outskirts of Gulu Town. He maintains physical records of milk production, feeding schedules, and customer deliveries in several notebooks. However, he often misplaces important records, making it difficult to determine which cows produce the most milk and whether his farm is profitable. Occasionally, rain damages his notebooks due to poor storage. Additionally, James struggles to track monthly milk production trends and customer preferences. Recently, a veterinary doctor visited his farm and noticed these challenges. The officer advised James to use digital tools to manage his records, analyze milk production, and streamline computer deliveries. So what is the task? We are asked to advise James on the most suitable ICT tools that he can adopt to manage these concerns. Then you're expected to explain how James can take care of these tools to be used for a long period of time. This is the task ahead of us. We are expected to have three parts. The very first part is the introduction. The second part is supposed to be the body, which must be having our content. And the other part should be the conclusion. Okay, I have 3 sample introduction paragraphs here from some students that wrote them. One says, in order for James to manage his challenges, he should adopt the following ICT tools. Another one says, James, who has failed to understand which ICT tools and their uses of how to manage records, analyze milk production, and streamline customer deliveries, should use some of the devices below to manage his concerns. There are many challenges associated with manually managing records on a farm like that of James. The use of ICTs can help improve the operations of James's farm. The following are some of the tools that can employ to overcome the challenges he finds on the farm. Members, dear students, this first paragraph, this one here, may look good, but it is too sketchy again. True, we have a focused one, James is there, but the challenges, we don't know where exactly the challenges are. In your paragraph, why not have something related to the challenges? Something related to the factory, something related to a company, something related to the organization where this person is working from. Then learners, James, who has failed to understand, that is paragraph 2. James, who has failed to understand. I may double this one. Let me underline this one. I don't think the scenario anyway told us that James has so far failed to understand anything. I don't think so. In case James had failed to understand anything, then he wouldn't be also advised by the veterinary doctor. But James might have understood and took the advice of the veterinary doctor. The rest of the parts may seem to be okay. Understand which ICT tools and their use of how to manage records, analyze milk production, and streamline customer deliveries. Should use some of the devices below. This one you see is related somehow to the scenario and the task. There is a relationship, there is a comparison, there is something there. Then the third one looks to be standard enough that James is mentioned, the farm is mentioned, and the challenges are mentioned, and it is showing us that the following we are going to list, we are going to employ, we are going to give the tools that can be ably used by James in the farm. Okay. So here we will take either this paragraph or this one. This would be the most ideal paragraphs for us to have. But in case things are hard to make it this way, hey, feel free to write something as it looks like that. There are many, okay. Then the sample description of tools. James needs to buy a computer at his farm. So when you talk about a computer, you have already identified. He will use it to store records for farm for a long time and will help him avoid misplacing the files. So this is a description. And having described it very well, it is okay. You may write these paragraphs like this, 6, 7, 8 of them. identifying the tools that could be needed. Then later, you may add another paragraph that says below are the ways of maintaining this ICT tool. I want to ask you that whether the maintenance measures are asked for in the final exam or not, please make sure that for you, you put them there, because you never know. You may never know what happens, that the examiner might be landing and interested in those areas there. Okay, we say James needs a computer. James needs a software like Microsoft Excel. He will use it to enter farm reports like milk production per cow every day. This will help him track the performance of his cows in milk production. Okay, so that is basically how we will present part A, item 1, part A to B. And the sample conclusion there would be that when James buys and uses the above tools effectively, he will be in position to run and manage his farm and overcome the various challenges that he faces. Okay, that's a fair conclusion. There it is focusing to James, it is focusing on his problems. It is also showing us that there are some tools that have been mentioned above to help this man to complete or to perform or to do his job very well. Item 2, that is section 1. Item 2, we said, comes from element of construct 2. We have item 2 and 3. There are 2 items in one section. Section B has part 1 and part 2. In part 1, we have item 2. Appreciates safety and proper management of e-waste. That is the element of construct. Appreciates is ICT safety and the proper management of e-waste. What are the topics there? We have health and safety, electronic waste management, system and data security, information access and sharing. So among these topics, among the topics here that we have, we are expected on topic 1 here in this topic, we expect you to know the various health hazards due to prolonged use of the computer. How do we affect? What causes it? How do we go about those problems? How do we solve the problems in overusing the computers? How do we solve problems that are related to computer misuse, computer overuse that are going to affect our health as individuals? And then safety. How can you keep safe yourself while using the computer? We have seen that many people are getting challenges, injuries, and whatever using the ICT tools. So the health and safety is a topic that will guide you on how to handle the health problems and health issues. We expect you to tell us in one of these 2 items in section B, part 1. We expect to see some of these responses. At times, it might be challenging that the item may not ask for the health issues. It might be twisted here and there. And once it is twisted, it may become slightly hard for you to interpret. But we expect you to know how to interpret all these scenarios. Then we have another topic that talks about electronic waste management. Electronic waste is that kind of waste that is related to IT equipment, electronic, those things that we no longer use. Some of you have very, very old things, the very, very old radios and TVs and what, that were used by your grands, that were used by you and your fathers and parents. Some of these things are no longer working, and we are keeping them in the houses there just for remembrance. Sometimes when you leave the house, you throw the things outside. At times in the schools that we are, you go to the computer lab and almost a quarter of the lab has those old old-fashioned machines. How do we manage the electronic waste? It may become waste the moment it takes long without being used. All these gadgets need to be used. And in case they are not used and they are waste, they are material that is wasted, how can we go about managing them? How can we dispose them properly? Then we have system and data security. System and data security, how can you protect your data during maybe transfer? How can you protect the computer from strangers and attackers? That is all there. Then we have another one called information access and sharing, where in information access and sharing, we have transfer of files from one device to another, from one person to another, from one something to another. But all this transfer is done electronically. So how do we go safe while online? These are things that I think we are going to talk, we shall talk of, and now, how do we respond to item 2, to section B, part 1? It is not yet compulsory that one item talks about health and another one e-waste, but most likely one of the two items may talk about e-waste management and another one may talk about health issues. Not just talking about those things, but by saying it talks about the scenario itself, you should be able to read and interpret and know that this is taking me into this direction. And while presenting, can you present them in an informed way? Have that informed manner, have a command of the language, have a command of the tools that you're actually presenting and processing in the e-waste. Okay, write a relevant focused introductory paragraph. Write a relevant or focused introductory paragraph. If e-waste has been identified in a school, for example, the school has a lot of e-waste piled in the computer lab, a lot of e-waste piled in the compound, a lot of e-waste piled in a certain room, maybe as it could be explained to you in the scenario. Can we see your introductory paragraph talk about the e-waste in that school X, how it is going to be managed? If there are children that are having health issues, let your introduction talk about the health issues of the learners, the health issues of the teachers, whoever the elders, whoever is using the computers and is of great concern in the scenario. Focus your introduction there. Identify e-waste management approaches. You might be required to guide that school head teacher, that government official, that district official, that community worker, that health officer, wherever the e-waste is. Do you know the e-waste management measures or approaches? Did you know that we do the recycling? You can also refuse, because one of the ways of disposing e-waste is donation. And many of us have received donations. You get something, use it for a month or two, and it is no longer working. You find yourself that for you, you cannot have anywhere to donate it to. So you can also refuse it. Then, and many other management approaches. In your response, you may need to identify and mention and describe the relevant causes of health issues, items or stakeholders. If there are causes of health issues, what caused them? Is it overusing the computers? Is it lack of protection while using the computers? What is the cause? Depending on the scenario that has been given to you. Pay attention. The scenario may need you to talk about the various stakeholders, but still, as you are responding, I'll advise you talk about the stakeholders. If it is recycling, what is the role of your school in recycling? What is the role of you, the student, as a stakeholder in recycling of the e-waste at your school? What's the role? When you talk about recycling, tell us which stakeholder might be in touch and is responsible, that might be in charge, or the responsible officer, the responsible stakeholder, to make sure that they manage the e-waste. Then also explain the cause or use or role of the identified item. If people are having repetitive strain injuries, are you able to tell us why? If it is a lot of waste on the school compound, are you able to determine why? Then you may also be required to explain the mitigation or preventive measures. How can we prevent? How can we mitigate? How can we avoid the spread of this e-waste in school compounds, in the roads, in the district compounds, and everywhere? So how do we mitigate? Then after writing, that is part of the body. After writing that, you write a relevant and focused conclusion or a judgment in a paragraph form. Okay. This guidance here applies on both item 2 and 3, because both items, each of them has what is required. Each of the 2 items has something. If one item may talk about the e-waste that is in the society, and another item may talk about the health issues in the society. So you may choose one of the 2. And while you choose one of the 2, please, if you're not yet sure that piece of paper is yours, can you use it? Are you able to write summaries there? Use the question paper, but for us, sometimes we even advise don't use the question paper because it might be regarded as malpractice. Use the very booklet, because the invigilator will give you a booklet. Feel free to ask for as many booklets as you can, so long as you're going to write in them. Get a page behind or somewhere, but preferably behind. Write bullets. If you have to talk about to identify the stakeholders, summarize, just put bullets behind that paper. You write stakeholders, you write students, teachers, schools, government officials, companies, factories, wherever. Outline them, because you never know, as you start writing, you may forget them. But as you're coming on the green paper to answer, make sure that you can ably talk about them. Then also, there is another challenge there sometimes as you're working. Sometimes as you are working, as you are writing, there is normally that answer, that response that comes and crosses your mind. I want to advise you that since this one, that one that you're writing, you already put an emphasis there, let it hold.
Kindly be patient. Be patient. Uh, be patient. I'm going to ask. Let's be patient. The teacher is coming back. Sorry for the network. Yeah. No? It's good. Okay, the facilitator is getting back. Sorry. So the facilitator is getting back. Let's be patient as he gets back online. But once he gets back, we shall continue. Just a minute. Okay, Mr. Simon, are you back? Are you back? Okay, okay. Just Simon, we can continue.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kaziba. Members, I'm sorry, it's raining here and power has just gone. So I had to switch to another source of internet. That's why I went off. But nevertheless, I think we can continue. Okay, we were briefly talking about by the time I went offline, we were going to talk about I'm sorry, members. I'm getting challenged by the internet being quite unstable, but we shall do what we can to see that we are there. Let me share my screen again. As I closed earlier, we were talking about what is in section B, part 2, that is item 4 and 5. We are expected to find topics like file and folder management, the element of construct is accesses, stores, and shares information using ICTs. Are you able to share what you have with a colleague, with a neighbor, using ICT tools or devices? Then the topics we have, one is file and folder management, information access and sharing, electronic publications, and website design. So these are the topics that we shall find there. You may not see that topic mentioned to you, but ideally, they are the topics behind. They are the things that we shall ask to find you. The items in part 2 may require you to direct us or to guide someone on how to share. You show knowledge on how to pick information from one end and send it to another end, basically using ICT devices. We have computers, we have smartphones, we have internet, we have software. How can you use those gadgets, those tools, to make sure that you can send an information from one point to another using those tools? So how do we respond? Still here, we would love to see you having a relevant introductory paragraph, and you identify relevant steps to follow while sharing the information. Give the steps here. Please and please make sure that you also add what we call a tool used. If I have to scan documents, tell whoever that person is going to scan the documents at a certain level, which tool am I using? An application called the CAM scanner or smart scanner? Am I supposed to use a flatbed scanner? Show that they'll be able to pick it at a certain time. Then also, your steps should be logically flowing. If I have to download a document from the website, do I just come out of the blue and go to the internet and go to the website to pick the information? Ideally, no. I need to have some guideline. The steps, what do I begin with for me to be able to remove, for me to be able to pick that document online? And after that, you write a relevant concluding paragraph. A relevant concluding paragraph or judgment. If you are supposed to apply. For example, the scenario comes that asks you that your friend wants to apply for a job online, but is not aware of how to do it, how to do the applications. Are you able to guide her or him? If you are able to guide him or her, what are the steps? Of course, one may need to first read the advert. Where is the advert? Is it online? And if someone has to submit the application via email, tell him or her to prepare them to check the advert. First check the advert, by the way, for you to know the information, and also to pick the email address onto which to submit, and also to know the various documents that someone needs to prepare. So tell me to check the advert. Tell me to prepare my documents. Tell me to create an email address if I don't have. But if I have, tell me to sign in. And if someone has to create an email address, you may not need to go through all those steps of creating a new email address. You tell me to create an email address, let me have it. That's what I'm saying that, and after having it, tell me when I have it and I have signed in, what do I do? Okay? What do I do? And if I do so, which tools do I use there? Okay? Then write a relevant concluding or judgment paragraph. What is your conclusion? That once Simon follows the above steps, he will be in position to submit his documents, his application for the job of ICT teacher in St. Edward, if the scenario was saying so. I'm seeing very many hands, members. I think I've been rushing a bit. Can I now respond to a few questions here? In the chat, I've just seen one question, I think, which asks, are we allowed to answer in a table form? In the beginning, I think I said so. Please feel free to answer, to tabulate your answers. It's okay, so long as the table easily gives us those things that we need. Let me begin with SS endeavor. I may allow very few questions. We have to handle paper 2. St. Joseph?
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
Sir, on number 1,
Yes.
I wanted to ask that, do we identify the key term and we define it before the...
My friend, you don't need to define terms. I may simply, let me give you a scenario. If you went to the head teacher's office, when the head teacher asked you, you found his computer faulty, for example, it has failed to start. He asks you that, please, Joseph, come help me. My computer here has failed to start. Guide me. What do I need to do? Or he tells you that we have got a new secretary here. Can you help guide us on which tools, which devices we need to buy? Will you first tell your head teacher that, you know, sir, Mr. Head Teacher, my name is Joseph so-and-so. In the first place, I'm an ICT student. Second place, ICT refers to blah, 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 blah. Hardware refers to this. You'll be becoming irrelevant, my friend. You don't need to define. In a nutshell, don't define key terms. Give us the introduction and tell us, give us information there that we need. Then Kisoko, is it Kisoko High School, Tororo? Kisoko High School.
Okay, my question is, yeah?
Yes.
Now on the item 2, like if I get the step, if I forget like the stakeholder of the West management, so I do what?
Sorry?
If I forget to put the stakeholder of the West, what do I do?
What will
Am
you
I
do?
on? I'm asking that. I'm asking that, eh?
Sometimes you may not need to tell us that this is the stakeholder.
Yes?
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes. I think I'm failing to get your question. Members, on my side, it's raining heavily and
Let's wait and see whether he will be able to come back, our first legislator. Yes, let's first be patient and see whether he can be able to get back.
members, I'm sorry being disturbed by the internet, the weather that is on. I'm seeing a question here in the chat. Someone says, is it okay to describe the consequence in item 2 and 3? Backache, this is the pain felt in the back area. Yes, okay, give us the consequence, explain it, and how can we overcome the backache, for example. Are we allowed to identify the point on the first line and then describe it the second line, or both should be in the same line? The choice might be yours, but preferably, if you're writing a paragraph, write a block paragraph, write your in the sign, write its use of description, go and look for another one, but write a block paragraph. After writing that paragraph, skip a line, go to a new line to guide whoever is going to be marking your work. Okay. There is, I can't recall the school. I think it was Kisoko High School. I didn't get your question. Kisoko is not there. Kihihi. Kihihi High School. I think he is also not there. Malongo Peace High School. Malongo. Are we supposed to bullet our work? Please don't bullet your work. Write in paragraph form.
Okay. Good evening,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, how are you?
I'm all right. So our question is like, how many answers or points do they need for the item maximum, especially on that item 2, part B, where they're asking the measures, how many are we required to put there?
You write as many as you can, but make sure there should be 5 or 6 there.
Okay.
Have more than 5, more than 6.
Okay, thank you.
Congo SS.
Good evening, sir.
Is Mugongo there?
Yes. Sir, I was asking that, can you give us some examples of the steps that we can use in section B, section B, item 5 and 6?
I think in my description there, I was talking about some of the steps that you could follow, because basically item 4 and 5 will require you to give us the steps to follow while sharing a file, while doing something, sharing a file basically online. I gave an example. If I was to submit an application letter, for example, the scenario needs me to send my application via email to St. Edward Secondary School, Bukumi, for being an ICT teacher. The first step should be telling me or guiding that person to go and read the advert. If the scenario shows you that the advert was online, tell that person to go and open the website using a browser connected to on the computer connected to the internet to read the details of the advert. After reading the advert, tell that person to prepare his documents, scan them if they are in hard copy. And what is he using to scan? He's supposed to use a scanner. We have types of scanners. Tell me I can use a scan on my phone. That is a scanning application. Or you can use a flatbed scanner. And if someone is using a flatbed scanner, direct me or guide me to still save. Guide me or direct me on how to save. What do I have to save? Am I able to save my work? And if I save my work, the work may be with a name that is easily identified. Okay? After saving, tell me, guide me that I should open and sign in into my email address. If I don't have an email address, tell me to create a new email address. Using a computer in a browser connected to the internet. Then after guiding the browser, after signing in, where do I put the receiver's email, the subject, the compose part, and attach the files that I saved, including the application data. After that, you tell me to click send or submit. And then you conclude by saying that when I follow all those steps. I Okay, members, sorry, it's been quite challenging that I was off. I thank Mr. Dungu who has reinstated me back here. Members, we are running out of time. My kind apologies that we are missing out on a number of questions. If very many friends have questions here, but again, we are running out of time and we have to also talk about attempting items in paper 2. Members, I wanted to respond to only one item here where someone was asking a sample of how to respond to present answers in a table. After that, we shall switch straight to how to attempt items in paper 2. Here, allow me, I'm just going to remove these two with an assumption that, oh, no, this is introduction. Just here, we have these two responses. I want to tabulate these two responses by giving maybe 3 rows here. My table would be a tool here, its use or application and maintenance. So I will say that my tool here is a computer. That is the tool. What is its use? To store records, farm records, that is the use that I have written. Then maintenance, shut it down when not in use. That is my tool number 1. The next tool was software, e.g. Microsoft Excel, to compute, or you may say for performing calculations on milk production on the farm. How to maintain, regularly update the software. Or you may also say that use an antivirus to prevent it from being corrupted. You have your introduction on top, and that is the format of the table and presentation of your responses. Then at the bottom, you put conclusion. Members, there are very many hands up, but because of the time, given the challenges that we have just gone through, allow me in the next 25 minutes we have to go and talk about the items in 842. That is our paper 2. Paper 2 is called 842. It comes in from element of construct 4 and 5, where this element of construct says manipulates data using different application programs. The applications we expect there are word processing, spreadsheets, presentation, electronic database management. Now, these 4 applications are handy. We are going to come and we shall give you a task that may need you to work using all of them. Then the other item comes from element of construct 5, which says that the learner uses publishing software to design, produce, and publish publications and websites. The topics here, one of them is electronic publications and website designing. Then how do we respond? There are 2 compulsory items. Paper 2, all items are compulsory. You have no option that you may leave one of them. Then attempt and present both soft copy and hard copies of both items. Soft copy will go on a CD, hard copy is a printout. Then study the items and confirm what the item scenario requires you to do. Don't just gamble around. Some of you are doing things because you studied your Excel, you know SUM, you know if, you know VLOOKUP, you know average, mean, max. So you go immediately the moment you open a file, you simply get there and start doing. My friend, read the scenario and understand what does it require of you. Item 1 of the other 4 applications. Attempt the item, solve that problem by using 2 or more applications relating their data. If you're given a support file in Excel, can we see that Excel file related to Microsoft Word, that Excel file related to PowerPoint, related to Microsoft Access or database? Please relate the 3, have 2 or 3 applications and make sure that you have all the data that we need. Make necessary computations and make a formatted professional document. You can see the way my word formatted appears. It is the word formatted. I even formatted the word formatted. Members, make sure that in all your work is formatted and it looks professional. If it is a report to be given to the head teacher, to be given to the DEO, to be given to the counselor, to be given to whichever office, make sure that that report is fitting to be presented there. So being formatted means change the fonts, colors, size, style, alignments, paragraphing, underline, bold, put those things there to make sure that your document looks real professional. Then apply all the skills in editing and formatting a document. Editing means don't you have any errors. You know, we have grammatical and spelling errors. And normally our documents and applications, especially Word and PowerPoint, what they will do, every wrong spelling will be underlined. Every wrong grammar will be underlined. Every wrong punctuation will be underlined. Make sure that all those underlines are corrected because we shall still mark. Are you able to edit? Are you able to remove errors? Are you able to improve the grammar? Some of our applications now are of a later version. Some of you are using Office 2021, 2019. Others still use Office as old as 2007. It may seem to be okay, but next time better, you may need to upgrade. But if you have been studying on Office 2007, I advise you members, don't you dare to go and start Office 2019 now. You are going to fail flat because there are a number of things that changed in the layout of 2007 from 2019. I want to advise you that the application versions that you have been using during your lessons, during your practice, should be the versions on your computers while you are working. Then item 2, take note of the needs of the item. Someone is writing on the screen that I am too fast. Oh, sorry. I didn't know I was too fast, but I'm trying to beat the time here because we need to, I want to allow a few minutes of some interaction and questions with paper 2. Take note of the needs. Let's talk about item 2. Whether it's offline or online publication. It may not be easy for you to be told that design a flyer, design an identity card, design what? Any of those offline documents. Now, because it is not easy to tell you that design that one, it may not be easy again to tell you that we want you to have a website. Someone who is transcribing on the screen, kindly kindly stop transcribing on the screen. Disable. Okay, so we are saying that take note of the needs of the item and be very careful to ascertain whether you have to create an offline document or an online one. In the case of an offline document, you can design a flyer, you can design a calendar, you can design a poster, you can design a brochure, a business card, name it, so long as it is a publication that fits to solve the problem. And the design principles of all these things look to be the same, okay? The design principles here are all the same. Ensure that you keep your product in the format of the application used. Some of you are good and you know how to save PDF documents. Kindly don't share, don't save PDF. Keep it in its original format. Keep it in Publisher, keep it in a Photoshop format, PSD, keep it in Illustrator format, keep it in that original format of the application, so long as for you know the application that you use. Then save your work properly on the CD. If it is an online publication, you required to design a website or an application using any available software. By saying application, you could build a phone app that you know that once people download it from Play Store and install it, they can always use it. You can design it if you know the code. You can design a website using any of the available softwares. We have very many softwares that can design websites. We have Macromedia Dreamweaver, we have WordPress, we have Expression Web, we have VS Code, we have that plain text editor, the Notepad. So long as you know your HTML code, you can do anything in web design. I want to advise you, the application that your teacher has worked with you, that you have learned with, give it time and learn it to the best. It can give you the scores that we need for us to get the A's that we want. I think before we come to an end, we have about 15 minutes. I want to allow a few questions and we interact in a few things here as I add on. make sure that also in item 1, I think I didn't mention it somewhere. In item 1, actually in both items, use the correct application. Don't use Publisher, Microsoft Publisher in item 1. Keep it for item 2. And in item 2, you might find that you want to design a certificate for that company, given the scenario. And for you, you see that you have the tools that you can use in Microsoft Word to design. Please don't use Microsoft Word. Use a publication software. Use the correct application. Otherwise, whoever the examiner is, whoever is going to score, may just write on your script that a wrong application used. And the moment a wrong application used, you may qualify for a 0. So I want to advise you that you take and use only and only that application. Send this streaming on YouTube for those who have weather problems. This recording is there, and I know Mr. Kazuba will share it anytime. It is required then. Please, sir, I request to give me tips on how to attempt it suitable program. I think I didn't get this question from Kato Jude. What if I do the work with publisher? If it is item 2, use publisher, it's okay. Does UNEP provide students with a CD or we buy ourselves? You buy your CD. Either you or your school buys for you a CD. UNEP will only send support files, not CDs. Can I be restricted on what software to use while answering? No, you're not restricted on the software. So long as the software is being used, can be used so long as the software is intended to solve that problem. That is why I said that do not create letters or reports using publication, but you can create a report using Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. Okay? Don't go to a publication to design a flyer using Microsoft Word, because for you, you can put shapes, images, and the rest. That will be the wrong application. Is it that we should use 4 programs in item 1? I can less than. I said item 1, use a minimum of 2. Have 2 or 3 applications for you to be on a safe side, but not 1. What if I design pages in MS Publisher for offline document? That one is okay. Offline document is okay. Kato Jude from St. Chirigwajo Chivale, success to STEM students. Okay, Senyonga Daniel, that's good. Thank you. How will I search on YouTube? I want it, please. You go and look for help. I am going to get for you the title of the YouTube channel here, and I'll give it to you anytime. Can we use flash disks? No, use CDs. UNEP recommends that you use a CD, okay? So how do I identify the application I'm supposed to use? I told you applications, item 1, you're supposed to use either of the 4 applications that we wrote here. Item 1, item 2, you're supposed to use these applications only. Electronic publication, there is Microsoft Publisher and Photoshop, Illustrator, those applications there. Then website design. And the one who wanted the channel, you go and look for Holistic E-Learning Platform. There are many videos there. Holistic E-Learning Platform, there are very many videos there. Now, you who wants the applications, in item 1, these are the applications that you may need to use. You need to use those 4 applications. Not all, but at least 2 or 3 of them. Other online documents and items apart from web design. I said you can develop an application of the phone. Can someone use publication, design a website? That is if you have the other old versions of web design. Sorry, the other old versions, 2007 and below of Microsoft Office. They are the ones that have web design. Send us some samples items. Thanks, teacher. Okay, give for the items that require printing. We print all pages. Please, while printing, print all the pages of your work. Okay. In web design, I'm using Expression Web. The HTML I have opened with web browser, or which one? Please don't, you may not print the HTML. Keep the HTML in soft copy, but print the product. Print that web page, print all the web pages. May the Lord bless you, amen. But if I use only 2 applications in item 2, sir. Item 2, you may not need more than 1 application. Item 2, you need only 1 application to use. Can I item 2 using publisher? Yes, please, you can use publisher. Can I create a report with a database? You can create a report with a database, but still you can create a report using Microsoft Word and using Microsoft Publisher. Where can we get steps on creating an email? Steps of creating an email. You can get them online or from a colleague. I think I didn't get your question. Clearly highlight on active form in web designing. Depending on the application that you use, you can use, if you're using WordPress, there are plugins that you can use. By saying active form, we want to see those fields of the form, and I can type something with even a submit button, such that when I click submit, my information goes and it is sent. How many marks does burning a CD take? Burning a CD has no mark, but it has all your marks. Because if you don't burn the CD, your work will not be taken to your name. Burning a CD is not scored, but that is where we have the work that the examiners have to score. Can you help us with the report steps of doing it? Now, which kind of report? If you're using Microsoft Word, you can pick the data from Excel, use it from Excel, copy and paste in Microsoft Word, determine which kind of report. Can't you use Microsoft Word to determine the statistics, to draw graph? You may draw graph from your Excel and put it in Word and do all that is required. Others may prefer to import data to Microsoft Access and do the necessary computations. For paper 1, do we give introduction on parts and A and B, or just for A? It is either way. You can, but better if part A has its introduction and conclusion, and also part B has its introduction and conclusion. Or else, feel free to introduce at once, then do both parts and conclude at the last part. Either way. What makes a website not be viewed after being extracted to a folder? That one is normally an effect of maybe the browser that you're using or the plugin that you used. You might have not configured the plugin for extracting properly. Should we apply only the identified skills in scenario, or we apply the skills we know? The scenario never shows you which skills to apply. If it wants you to give a report to a person, you only have to repeat the person. The channel of where we have these scenarios, these video recordings, is called Holistic E-Learning Platform. Is it like this? Holistic? Yes, that holistic there. Sir, sisters with sample items on web design, I think I will share later. Sir, is it a must to draw a pie chart or a graph assuming we are tasked to record some data? Please, we want you to show that you can do computations and comparisons. We may not tell you that to draw a graph, but even when they don't tell you, you tabulate and put graphs in your work, especially item 1. Draw your graphs and charts. They will not cost you a lot. Do they restrict templates when designing a website online? If you use the templates, make sure that you design and remove the template data and put the data that suits and meets the problems that have been identified. Can I use PDF on? No, don't send PDF. I think I said this. Don't send PDF. We want that work in its original format. If you use the publisher, let it be publisher. If it is Photoshop, let it be a Photoshop file, not JPEG, not PDF. We want to see the back end of your work. You may long as I use 2 of the 4 I produce. Yes, use 2 of 4. If they ask for offline publication, they respond using offline application. Am I marked? No, that is a wrong approach. Sir, I beg you to view back for me the page on item 1. I think this one, the page on item 1, paper 2. I think I'm on for item 1, paper 2. Some sample items, please repeat them. What if the set item and it's not specific, either online, offline? If the item will be specific, it may not write online or offline, but you just have to be logical enough to know. If they're telling you that the customers are abroad, the clients are in Kenya, and the suppliers in Uganda, do you think the Kenyan clients can always travel to Uganda? What makes it better and easier? What makes it easier is putting the information online. But if the customers or maybe the clients are always coming to the shop and picking information from the shop, that means those clients need flyers and brochures and the rest. Help us with some steps of banning. Banning, I think I don't have a CD with me here. This is another challenge I will demonstrate. But if I fail banning it, but I just copy and transfer to the CD, so long as the work is on CD, don't worry. So, but if I apply 2 photos when using HTML, in website, make sure that your page has some photos, it has a MAQUI, it has some photos and text, and it is linked. There are links there. It has a menu, the pages are properly linked, and it is running normally. MAQUI, seen somewhere. How many softwares are you supposed to use in item 1? I think that one has been said. 2 or more. Can I use website design to design a report form? I don't think so. Is Word required in item 2? Word is not required in item 2. Can you help us with steps in web design? That may not be because of time. Good evening, sir. I have joined late. May I just see a view of the items of both paper 1? We didn't set items this time. Clarity on item 1, Wakisha paper. My friend, I'm not part of the Wakisha team. I can't comment about it. We had the power problems. How can I attempt item 1 in ICT theory? I think we talked about this. You'll look for this video. I'm rushing. We have about 2 minutes to close the lesson. Do they set database? Yes, they do, but not directly as database. Analyze about submission of application of items. What about in case of web designing? Should I send? What should I send? Web design, we need to have those web pages sent and they're properly linked. I have confirmed an A for ICT. Congratulations, my friend, and that's what we want. I beg you with some sample items. What is a MAQUI? A MAQUI is that running statement. You may not be able to copy these email addresses, but you may have to send me a message, and maybe if you send me a message, I'll be able to send what you want. What is the maximum? These are my details there. What is the maximum number of photos to apply when using HTML? There is no maximum or minimum, but I would advise have about 3 photos on a page. Which topics can I focus on? On item 2, I beg for your pardon. Item 2 needs publication and web design. Okay, you have not talked on how to deal with the support folder. Okay, thank you. We shall give you, UNEB is going to send you support files. The support files will always be on the screen, on your desktop. The teacher will give them to you. In case they are not there or they are not opening, please feel free to ask for them from your teacher. The teacher will have them on the desktop. And make sure that you open them when they should be opening. And also make sure that for paper 2, the first thing you do, create your folder on your screen. Have 2 folders inside there, one folder for item 1 and another folder for item 2. Put your files for item 1 in a folder called item 1. Put your files for item 2 in a folder called item 2. Where necessary, you may need to copy your files from the support files folder and put them in your folder for you to work at ease and continuously save your work. How can I get you? Please reply back for behalf of the school. My contacts are on the screen. Pop from Bukedi College, you are doing great, sir. Thank you very much for appreciating. Is it allowed to use red and yellow color? It is allowed. There is no color that is not allowed. The only challenge will be in you putting yellow, a light yellow on a white background. We want to see that the colors of the text can blend very well and they are easily legible as opposed to the background. That is what we call contrast. In item 2, is there any online platform apart from web design? I said we have phone applications. If the links are there in the notepad, yet the pages have refused to link, what can you do? That means the links are not there. You check and troubleshoot your tags. Size the Macquarie compulsory in web design. It is not compulsory, but required. It may be an added advantage to you. Give us some item for practical. We have always shared these items. Sir, we want to assure you that A will be got in ICT. I'm glad for that. Thank you very much. I also pray that we have very many A's this year. In paper 1, do you need to write in a report format? We may not need to write report format as such, but so long as you're presenting your answer with an introduction, with a body and a conclusion. You make a write-up regarding what you have to present. Have your answers related to the scenario. Sample support files, so when we'll upload this video, the video is going to be uploaded anytime. I know Mr. Kaza will work on it anytime. But if you don't have data for item 2, data will be there. If it is not there, then you'll be required to think about it yourself. Do you have other videos? The videos are on that channel there. What's the maximum number of colors? I may not have a clear answer, but don't use more than 3 or 4. Give us the methods of burning CD. Burning a CD, when you insert it in a computer, it may be, you may need to first format it, putting it for the first time. If you're putting it for the first time, you may need to format it. And also, after formatting it, then just right-click your folder, send it to, and the work will go there like a flash. As you're burning it, please make sure you may burn it like a USB device. When you burn it as that one for the CD player, it is going to write your work once there. But as you're sending it, please open the CD again. Go to this PC or my computer, open the CD, check if in a case there is a file, there is a certain arrow that normally comes. If at all it shows that file is ready to be burned to the disk, and that is your folder, that folder is not yet on your CD. Please go up there. There is normally, I think it is a format tab. You look for an option that says format burning. When you click format burning, the work will burn and send itself to the CD. And what shows you that it is there in that method, the CD will eject itself immediately. Members, we are already out of time, just 5 minutes after 6, we have to go for supper. I know we don't have to take a lot of time there. That site is not working. Please, I don't know which site you're talking about. Is burning, CD, and printing all allocated within the 2 hours? Yes, burning and printing is within that time. What if we put correct codes of the images, yet they don't show? What would be the problem? That means the code is not correct. If it is a correct code, the code will definitely show. Members, I want to thank you for being part of the class this evening. Thank you. I want to thank the colleague teachers that have been with us since we started, and to thank the schools that have given us a chance to participate in this. In a special way, I thank the Holistic E-Learning Platform, Mr. Kaziba in particular. Members whose hands are up, I'm sorry, we may not pick the hands. We are being held up because of the time, and it's already 6 minutes past 6. We are supposed to be closing the lesson now. I want to thank you for being in class. Thank you for all the participation that we have had. And I want to wish you the best. Just in case there is a question that I have not answered because of the time, please reach out to me on any of those contacts shared above, and I will gladly respond to you, my dear colleagues. I wish you all the best and God's blessings in whatever we do. I wish you the very best and the very biggest success in your exams. Thank you, colleague teachers that have been on the call, and I wish you all success. Goodbye and nice weekend.